100 tier 3v3 faction war. It's Calderis Refinery and it's Orks versus Chaos. First up, HansMoleman is a mech teleporting commander that fights range combat, does some nice damage, can also disrupt, support, build structures and repair, but can be very energy intensive and not very tough. Alongside Angry Bird is a bright pink Kommando Nob infiltrating commander that shoots you, stabs you and blows you up Orky style. Now the out blue team for the Orks is Adila's Warboss melee commander that walks through cover, good damage, disruption and support from the front lines. Up against, as you can see right here, is Floid's Chaos Lord, durable and destructive commander that fights melee, walks through cover, cannot be suppressed, good offense and disruption. And you see Kungalooh alongside with some doom bolts going in, offensive and disruptive commander with a bunch of spells, could also be very energy intensive. And yes, here we see him consuming one of Floid's heretics to regain his energy. Got a sneaky sorcerer, there's the stun bomb. And rounding out the Chaos team, Patbadger's Plague champion starts off ranged combat with his damage over time bolter, can get melee weapons, good defense, offense and utility, can build turrets and repair but lacks mobility. See the damage over time on those slugger boys there. Now going into melee with the Chaos Space Marines with double shooters shooting as well. This is a very risky engagement. Chaos Space Marines staying in melee though, trying to wipe these sluggers. Wow, down to 160, 150 almost, and they get away without losing a model. Very, very lucky. Over back, back over on the west side. Chaos Sorcerer and Chaos Lord side by side. Kungalooh's heretics chasing down shooters. These guys have big shooters up already, allowing them to suppress those heretics there. That was a stomp from the Warboss which missed everything, cannot knock back the Chaos Lord with such things. There's Kill the Weak, the Chaos Lord self-heal, which he missed, so he runs away. Both Kungalooh and Patbadger have a very light colour scheme, so I'm sure I'm going to get very confused. Patbadger's Plague champion in melee here. There's some Nurgle worship boosting the health regeneration of all of this infantry. You can tell by these green hexagons below their feet and the little Nurgle signs as well. Has forced off HansMoleman's army. Angry Bird, did he have another unit? He's down to just sluggers now. Basic melee unit, lack mobility in tier 1, but they can become very powerful in tier 2 with their Nob leader. Angry Bird has some Storm Boys, jump troops with power melee weapons. Not the most durable or mobile thing out there, but they really hurt heavy armor. Pain Boy on the field for Hans, support sub commander that can heal with a small upfront heal and big health regen afterwards. Has a power melee weapon as well that does damage over time. Gonna support these sluggers with some heals. The mech boy has a death gun, allows him to set up and suppress infantry. Here we see him setting up, there's his firing arc. Sluggers forced off by these aspiring champion heretics, a very strong tier 1 melee counter with their Doom Blast. The aspiring champion himself is a Chaos Marine, you see him there with the bolt pistol and chainsword. He's pretty mean as well. These Chaos Space Marines walking around, very lucky not to lose a model. Those are Floyd's. Floid chasing down these shooters, no sign of a combi flamer yet. We have Storm Boys also for Adila. A very nice Kill the Weak there on those Storm Boys that were trying to back off. Here come heretics. Floid has double aspiring champion heretics. Wow, that's either going to be very effective or bleed him a hell of a lot. Storm Boys hitting power here. These are Angry Birds and he's going for double Storm Boys in tier 1. Very aggressive opening. Pretty much have to be aggressive with these guys. Chaos Lord taking back Chaos's natural here. Center VP is Orky, as is their natural Death Gun mech set up to protect it. Here we see some Nurgle worship and Raptors on the field for Patbadger alongside his double CSM. A very strong tier 1 loadout for him. Double CSM chasing down the Pain Boy with their bolters. Kungalooh coming mid. The central player on this map, which is Kungalooh and Angry Bird in this case, very important. They have to instinctively know where to go, where to support and when to hit power. At the moment it's HansMoleman alone on this side. Raptors jump in the mech boy, and then they jump after the sluggers. You see, they even suppressed the sluggers there after they jumped after them. Their landing suppression is very, very good. They can suppress a huge mass of units if they're close together. These guys retaining all of their models down to just under 300 hit points, and they did very well for Patbadger there. How is Hans going to deal with those guys? Double aspirant champion heretics, scaring the bejesus out of those storm boys. Sorry, those shooters. Here comes storm boys with use your choppers up. This is a global buff from the Warboss, but they don't want to mess with double heretics and a sorcerer. They get away with 3 models and can count themselves lucky to do so, I think. Warboss also trying to run, has angry bits and cyborg implants, which is obviously to try and deal with those double heretics. A very good melee counter for the Warboss early on. Orks take mid. Chaos have both of the naturals. HansMoleman, I think, might struggle versus double CSM and Raptors. He has Storm Boys now, very heavy tier 1 from him. Patbadger under this Nurgle worship is very difficult to dislodge. Double CSM in cover under Nurgle worship. Storm Boys jumping in, those double Storm Boys jumping in from Angry Bird. This could be very nasty. HansMoleman comes to support, and Patbadger cannot stay in that engagement. Runs away, stun bomb from the Kommando missed. He has the grenade icon above his head, which means he has stick bombs. Chaos Space Marines decapping mid. Kungalooh coming to try and support Patbadger, I think, but a bit too late, and Chaos Sorcerer needs to run away. He has given grenade launchers to his heretics, which is a terrible idea with 4 Stormboy squads on the field. Perhaps he did not know when he got them. Here comes Floid, has Eternal War on his Chaos Space Marines there, giving him a flat damage increase. There's the big stomp. Look at that for a melee counter, sending his heretics flying, doing damage and stunning them. Even stunned the Chaos Lord there. Warboss levels to 2. His shooters shooting from distance, really good synergy with that big stomp, allowing them to do their DPS while stuff lays on its behind. Stormboy is forcing off heretics. That was not a good engagement for Floyd. He bled a lot of heretics there, down to 2 models and about 3 on the other squad, I think. Orks have the double cat, might get a triple if Adila's quick enough here. 438, 334, it's a double cap. Chaos Space Marines now get Eternal War for Kungalooh. I think that the Chaos players shouldn't spend too much. Havocs get absolutely owned by Stormboys with user choppers. Power melee attacks on retreating heavy armor is not going to end well for the heavy armor. As I was saying though, I don't think the Chaos players should spend too much resources upgrading their CSM. They're just going to get absolutely owned by the Stormboys, even with Mark of Khorne. I think with the Knob Leader, the Stormboys will take them quite handily, especially with these Warboss buffs being handed out left and right. 438, 277, a triple cap for the Orks, looking very, very strong in tier 2 right now. Floyd has a Chaos Dreadnought though, going for Mark of Khorne, wants to meet those Stormboys head on. Lots of shooters here, a Blood Crusher for Kungalooh. Will need to be careful because the Stormboy knobs, when they get them, have heavy melee weapons and they do a lot of damage. This guy is a demon with vehicle armor, so benefits greatly from worship with health and energy regeneration, and in the case of Kungalooh, the Zinch infiltration as well. Decent mobility, decent damage to all targets, but it only has 600 hit points on something that needs to get into melee. There is Robes of Torment from Kungalooh, locking the Stormboys in place. Very good choice. And the Blood Crusher takes down one of the Knob Leaders. Very nicely, surgically done by the Blood Crusher. Stormboys jumping in. The Stormboy Knob stunning those CSM. Can they get away? Looks like they will. Stormboys very, very bad at chasing down units. They're so slow on their feet and clumsily jump after them passively, as you saw there. Of course, Sorcerer goes down in seconds, trying to retreat. How is the Blood Crusher again? Here comes Adila and he has that big scary 95 DPS heavy melee power claw on the Warboss. Heavy melee, effective versus all targets, even this Dreadnought, and he's going after it. This is a Mark of Khorne Dreadnought, so very effective in close combat. And there is Blood Rage, boosting damage, boosting durability and speed, but you lose control of your Dreadnought, and he's going to take down the Warboss here, I think. There's the retreat, and he's just about going to get away. Blood Crusher lives. Weird Boy on the field for Adila. Sub-Commander for Orks, good for dealing with blobs of infantry. And that is a beamy death gun from the Mech Boy. This thing does crazy anti-vehicle damage, getting shots on that Dreadnought, but it does get out of the firing arc. Also has the battery pack, which can heal and infantry and vehicles. Look at this though, Plague Champion, beautifully kitted out to combat all of this melee, the Sluggers and the Stormboys. Plague Fist, Armour of Pestilence and the Icon of Nurgle. Use the Pestilence Strike there to cap mid, and Chaos have a double. Marco Zinch CSM, so Kungalooh not following my advice and kitting out his CSM quite a lot here. Floid also has Mark of Zinch CSM. Patbadger has double Mark of Khorne CSM. Look at this. This is going to be interesting. He's trying to fight them face on. Oh no, he doesn't. Only one has Mark of Khorne. He's cancelled the other. Raptors with their aspiring champion gets that very nifty 40 power melee DPS power claw and a plasma pistol. Here's some Nurgle worship. Here come double Stormboys from Angry Bird, and he's going straight to tier 3 here. There was a Bomber Boys. CSM in huge amounts of trouble. These are Floids. He's forgotten about them or something, and they are going to die. And these guys had Eternal War, and they had Marco Zinch trying to save them there with Armour of the Inferno. Not a good choice versus all of these Stormboys and Sluggers. I don't think he should have gone for Blood Maul, which he has done. Harness of Rage and perhaps Demonic Visage to debuff their damage while he's in melee with them. Running away now. Blood Crusher doing reasonably well for Kungalooh. Has a decent special attack, as you saw there, in a cone in front of him. Will knock stuff back. Floyd's Heritage just about getting away. Lots and lots of bleed again for him to deal with. Orks haven't dealt with the Dreadnought yet. They do have a lot of decent anti-vehicle. The Beamy Death Gun, which the Mech Boy is not using at the moment, has gone back to his Death Gun. The Warboss is Power Claw, and all of these Stormboy knobs. Weird Boy also does decent anti-vehicle damage when he hits stuff. 333 238 is a 1-to-1 cap, going to be a 2-to-1 for Chaos. Come back decently well here. Was a triple cap with a 1 or 200 VP difference at one point. Pain Boy has the stronger Git Juice. Very nice upgrade for him. Boosts his hit points, energy regen, and makes his heal better. You get some absolutely crazy hit point regeneration with this thing, especially when you combine it with the Warboss's Angry Bits. For this, a Warband, passive damage and suppression resistance buff, I believe it is. Buildable by Sluggers. The Mech Boy can also build them. Warboss charging into the Chaos Lord and knocking him down. He does have Demonic Visage, but he's going to go down to that Power Claw. Down he goes. Stormboys jumping in. Chaos Dreadnought takes him down. The Warboss, that is. Weird Boy with a very well timed Warp Vomit, hard stunning all of those heretics, and they run away. Haven't seen any Khorne worship from Floyd. Synergizes quite well with this melee Dreadnought. I suppose he hasn't needed to use it yet. Fighting right outside his base most of the time. War Truck on the field for Angry Bird, allowing him to reinforce all of these Stormboys in the field, and they are jumping on separate targets. This is how you should use them. So you can stun two things at once. Heretics from Kungalooh should get away. Sorry, Patbadger. I knew I'd get them confused. 286, 238. Blood Crusher getting rear arm hits on that War Truck, but it does get away, I think. There's the Pain Boy heal on these Stormboys, allowing them to retreat safely. Patbadger's Plague Champion level 3. I guarantee with this loadout, he's going to be at least level 5 by the time this game is over. Kungalooh seems to have got another CSM squad both with Mark of Zinch. Inferno bolts, very good versus all infantry types. Patbadger's lost one of his Chaos Space Marine squads. Wraps to those nasty Stormboys. Look at this engagement now in mid. Orks come in thick and fast with their WAAAGH. Stormboys trapped by the Robes of Torment. WAAAGH is a buff that pretty much all Ork units have. The more units that use it at once, the bigger the buff. It's a speed and damage buff. You can tell by the yellow circles below the feet of these units. Blood Crusher trying to get away, taking shots from these tank busters. Cheap and very decent anti-vehicle squad that can use a missile barrage, which is very, very powerful, but costs WAAAGH to use. Raptors jumping in, suppressing this stuff, trying to tie up that Weird Boy, I think. Weird Boy is decently tough though, with 850 hit points at level 1. Look how much he has now though. 1190 with his Warpath upgrade. Increases speed of nearby allies. I think it's only your units actually, and increases their melee damage as well. Adila now going tier 3, Floid the last to go, everyone else is there. Mechboy has his beam with death gun, 239, 231, it's very, very close. 2-1 cap for the Orks. Can these Stormboys scale into tier 3 now? This is the question. Still, there is 4 of them on the field, done very well so far. Angry Birds must be in the war truck. And here they are disembarking alongside Sluggers. Sluggers with their Knob Leader and Burners. And the Heretics stand absolutely no chance at all. One squad wiped. This other squad needs to run away, I think. There's a Doom Blast to suppress them. Well, they're staying in an engagement they can't win. Looks like they will just about get away. And now the Stormboys turn on the Dreadnought, hoping those 2 Knob Leaders can get attacks in. One of them jumps out though. Other one is still in there. Not doing a lot of damage because Blood Rage is up and the Knob goes down. They are reinforcing though, of course, off of this war truck. Here's the Blood Crusher to help out. Blood Crusher actually very, very good at chasing down transport units. Transport vehicles, I should say. There's Demonic Roar. This might be the end of the Blood Crusher here. There's a foot of Ork on those Heretics. Blood Crusher does go down. Boom. And really, really dangerous ability from the Weird Boy. There is Let the Galaxy Burn, I believe, was it? Where is the Chaos Lord? He's down. Oh, he died straight after it. Actually, hectic engagement here. Warboss hanging back, strangely. Should go into the CSM, and there he goes. Kungalooh, double Muckers in CSM. Get charged and run away. There's an Abyss. Very, very well placed, but Adila was smart to it and retreats without losing a model. Very, very quick reactions from Adila. He is now decapping Chaos's natural war truck. Somehow, is still alive. Has a reinforced plating, that's why. 550 hit points isn't bad. Almost level 2. Huge engagement here outside of Floyd's base. The Dreadnought still going strong, but he's going to lose it. Stormboys have user... Sorry, these are Sluggers with user choppers. Here comes Stormboys. He's going to keep them in this fight because everything is reinforcing off of this war truck. He's going to lose this Dreadnought. Should be using Corn Worship to march it out of here, but he's not. There is Sweeping Doom. And the Dreadnought is going to die. Should have saved it. Really should have walked it out with some Corn Worship. 163, 212, needless loss. And Orks are going to get a triple, I think. 163, 208 now. They're going to make up the VP difference, you would think. Floyd with just Chaos Space Marines and Heretics now. Level 3 Heretics. Level 6 Chaos Lord. Kungalooh's Chaos Sorcerer. Level 4 has Robes of Torment and the Rod of Warpfire. Patbadger's Plague Champion. Level 4. Chaos Raptors now have their Demon Wall. 45 DPS power melee weapon with a very decent demonic strength ability, 200 damage to a single model, and it sends them flying, doing domino knockback. Here comes some Bloodletters for Patbadger. Demon infantry that passively teleport into combat, as you see here. Really, really good power melee damage and awesome melee skill. You see all those special attacks going off, but they are outnumbered here. And here we see them warp shift out of existence to back off. No, now they back off. Raptors coming in to try and save them. get away fine. Yes, they do. Raptors with a sync kill with the Demon Maw there. Let's have a look mid. We have a Land Raider Phobos on the field for Kungalooh. Super unit for Chaos. But there's a Rocks on it. And another Rocks. Good grief. This thing is done for, I think. I don't think it's going to survive. It might just have... No, it goes down. Has twin las cannons. I'm not sure why the heck he went for that thing. With all the melee on the field. That Warboss with the power claw and that beamy death gun as well. And we now have a Kommando with the rocket launcher. So even without the rocks, I don't think that thing would have lasted very long. Huge loss. Didn't last very long, I don't think. 162, 155. Orks are capped in mid. And they have a single red team just trying to take their natural back. It's Floid. His Chaos Lord leveling to 7. Storm Boys jump those CSM, but they only had 2 models, so they run away. Heretics catching them in retreat. Can't quite take them down. Bloodletters for Patbadger, an interesting choice. An aggressive choice, of course. They have to be in combat. Have no way to snare or disable units, so they have to get in and hope for the best pretty much. That the matchup is right, and that is not a good matchup. Storm Boys alongside the Pain Boy. Level 2 Pain Boy now has Cyborg implant equipment. Not sure if he has used it yet. HansMoleman's met with the Death Gun back, and he now has the super tough beam, so he can support these Storm Boys even more now. Or his sluggers, of course. But Patbadger wins the engagement, nicely done. Forces them off with a well-timed Raptor jump and can decap their natural. Meanwhile, Chaos is natural under threat. Another Mark of Khorne Cursed Dreadnought for Floid. He's floating a decent amount of resources as well. Look at that. Might be saving for a great and clean one. Dreadnought's in trouble. Warboss with user choppers and that power claw, and there are some tank busters there, and it's gonna go down, but it did take down the Warboss as well. Down goes the second Dreadnought of Floid. Stormboy jumping in. A level 4 Stormboy Knob needs to be very careful. Another Abyss. It might wipe these Stormboys, and these guys are level 4. Yes, they run right through the center and are wiped. Knobs on the field for Adila, as you can see here. Mid VP being captured by sluggers. These are Angry Birds level 3. Huge engagement on this east side. Chaos Terminators on the field for Patbadger with an autocannon. Demoralize enemy troops whenever they make a kill, but they are stunned by these Storm Boys. Double Storm Boys in amongst them is very, very bad. These guys are both level 4. I cannot even imagine the amount of power melee damage these guys are putting out. Look at the damage to these Terminators. Cannot retreat, they just teleported out and need to run the rest of the way, and they're not going to make it, are they? Ouch. This is some awesome Stormboy usage by the blue team. Have not lost a single squad apart from Adila's very unfortunate retreating through an abyss. Patbadger's Plague Champion level 6, not far off level 7. Stuns the Stormboys with Pestilent Strike, such an awesome ability he has with the Plague Fist. Look at all of the Stormboys jumping in. There is Aura of Decay, given to him by Armor of Pestilence. Really nice tool to get him out of trouble. Being chased down though, and they might finish him though. The Raptors jump and save him. Nicely done by Patbadger. He's really up against it here though. Bloodletters are there. He's done very well to preserve these Bloodletters, I think. Forcing off that war truck, which has been fantastically used by Angry Bird so far. 135, 110. It's still very close despite the huge losses the Chaos team have taken. Land Raider Phobos and Terminators both not lasting very long. Havoc's now on the field for Floid, trying to control the Knob squad, I think. Kungalooh with some Plague Marines, durable generalist unit, decent damage to all targets, very, very tough with some awesome health regeneration. They're getting jumped though. Don't want to fight Stormboys in melee, really, really don't. 132, 110. Forcing off the Plague Marines, who explode on death, dealing damage and healing allies, dealing damage to enemies, that is, of course. Chaos Lord in with a huge sweeping doom. debuffing. All of this stuff is tell by the red circles below their feet, decreasing their damage with Demonic Visage. 132, 110. It's a 1-to-1 cap. Center is uncapped. Angry Bird with some bloodlust here, wants to kill stuff and not cap. Here are some knobs though, fully upgraded with huge hammers. Group Meaner and Greener and their Knob Leader. They got some awesome new models recently. Can go toe to toe anything with their upgrades. Sluggers here hanging back for some reason, need to run away. Trying to repair the war truck, taking tons of losses from these Chaos Space Marines and constantly reinforcing. Angry Bird has now realised. His Storm Boys trying to get back to the war truck to reinforce, I think. Double CSM from Kungalooh. He's done well to preserve these guys, but now they're going to get jumped. Heretics have grenade launchers, so they're not going to be much help. They are level 4 though. And that was Tome of Subjugation on those knobs. Awesomely done by Kungalooh. Very, very powerful accessory. Pretty much nothing you can do about it. You cannot retreat out of it. You've just got to take it. Knobs using Frenzy. Cost them 75 war. Gives them immunity to damage and immunity to suppression, which makes them very difficult to deal with. Doesn't give them immunity to knockback though, which is a very good way to deal with knobs in general to disrupt them. 125, 103. Orks have a double. Gonna have a 2-to-1 once the caps are finished. Floid with a great unclean one on the way. Hans has a looted tank, decent battle tank for Orks, can disrupt with its boom shot, and he has a war truck of his own on the way. Angry Bird with a battle wagon, likes to use this thing. Patbadger with a Chaos Predator and is going for Mark of Nurgle. Not sure how well that's going to turn out. I generally very much like Mark of Nurgle, but a speed debuff against all of these level 4 and level 3 Storm Boys might not be the best idea. Mech also still has that beamy death gun that he can equip if he wants. 125, 69. Here is the Mark of Nurgle Chaos Predator doing damage over time with its shot, and as you can see it does a very good amount of damage to those shooters there. 125, 62, 2-to-1 cap. Blue team have lost their natural. It's the battle of the naturals, isn't it? Floyd struggling to hang on to his, and Hans struggling to hang on to his. War truck backing off now. Took a great armor hit from the Mark of Nurgle Predator. Loses some effectiveness versus vehicles with this upgrade, but can still hurt them. Here comes Angry Bird's war truck, which has been absolutely awesome. Pretty much allowed him to use these Storm Boys effectively. Bloodletters are going after it. Now they are teleporting out. Some Nurgle worship, but the Heretics are taken down. No more Nurgle worship for Patbadger, and down goes the Mark of Nurgle Predator. As I thought, didn't have any answer to all these Storm Boys, and Patbadger's forced off and is not happy. 114, 60. Had a problem retreating his stuff, which sometimes happens unfortunately. Floyd has a great unclean one out. Super unit for Chaos. Hugely tough with over 6,000 hit points of super heavy infantry armor. Very, very dangerous as well. Passively damages surrounding enemies. And has some nasty abilities too. Have a Mark of Khorne Dreadnought for Kungalooh. This is the third one we've seen. And subjugated knobs, can they take down their own Warboss? That would be awesome. Warboss takes down a Dreadnought though, and now he has control of his knobs back. Not sure, I think it's 15 seconds it lasts, but there is an Abyss. Beautifully done, huge engagement here. You see the cloud of flies, damage over time from a great unclean one on all of this stuff. Passively doing damage as well. Sluggers somehow cap mid, they do die from the Abyss afterwards. Knobs now going into melee with the great unclean one. A lot more of a threat to meleeness than he is in retail, since he has that damage over time passively in elite. 114, 48 is a 2-to-1 cap, very, very close. It's the Orks game to lose though, I think. Hans has lost a lot of stuff. I think he got caught badly in that Abyss, and the great unclean one's going to go down sadly. There he goes, the big fella. It's a very long and awesome death animation. explodes on death, doing damage to enemies and healing allies, but nothing is close enough. Laughs his head off, and there he goes. Orks trying to cap Red's natural under Havoc's suppression. Well, here come Knobs, and they are looking pretty pissed. Keep getting subjugated, not happy, boss. Does not want to get caught by these guys, and it does retreat in time. Chaos Lord with a Let Galaxy Burn again. Onward 410, XD Orks' gain. They have a double. They're natural under pressure again, but it doesn't matter. There's the 2-1, and there is the GG. And the Orks take it with some awesome Stormboy play. Especially Angry Bird with this War Truck support. Red team made some questionable decisions in unit choice. I think the Phobos, very poor idea. The Markov Nurgle Predator was a poor idea. Terminators couldn't deal with all that power melee jumping in on them as well. Were probably a poor idea unless they got some lightning claws, which would have been interesting. But there you have it. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time, and thank you to all these players who took it upon themselves to put this faction war together and send it in.